Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Mike here, I'm your host, and today I am working on splitting some more wood. Probably going to be some time lapse, and I think this video is going to be about the new wood stove, because I told you we were getting a wood stove, had some questions about it, and so we're going to do a little bit of intro to the stove. Does the stove light itself? That's pretty cool. Anyway, we're going to get to that shortly. But one of the things I wanted to share was we talked about doing the four-way head on the Boss splitter. And so I did buy their four-way head. I think it was $100, free shipping. And it slides right over the existing head. One thing I don't like about it is the fact that you have to take the pin out of the existing in order to get clearance to drop the four-way on. I might be doing some modification to that because I'd like the option to be able to slip it on and off like other folks do with other brands. Otherwise, it works really well. It does come with a warning label that says, you know, don't split extra hard stuff, and don't split knots, and don't push if it won't go, and because obviously it's putting more pressure when we're splitting four ways. But anyway, all that being said, I'm going to split some wood because the new wood stove, with the way that it lights, requires not kindling, but a kind of a certain size and a certain dimension. I guess dimension, size is the same thing. But anyway, some different size wood to make it fire up easily. And my bride likes to start a fire if it's easy. So I want to get some wood drying and split it up so you can see that it's about roughly-ish 8 inches instead of this normal 16. And I'm going to be splitting them up in about 2 to 3 inch blocks. And so that'll be interesting. You'll see how that works later. But anyway, I'm going to do a time lapse on the four-way splitter on the Boss. All right, so the kindling stack is ready to go, providing the chickens don't knock it over. Still need to find a way to cover it, but start getting that kindling drying for next season. Alright guys, so we are in the house with the new Lopi Evergreen that we recently put in, and I'll go back and show you a few of the photos of the install. I didn't film the guys actually doing it because I thought it might be kind of weird for them anyway. Not for me, because I'm always doing stuff like this around the property. But anyway, show you a few of the install photos, and then we'll get into the wood stove and how it lights. Like I said, this is the Lopi Evergreen. It's made in Washington State, which is basically just across the river from us. And it's, I think their second level, it's approved for a manufactured home, which is what we live in, and has really low clearance tolerances, so it's really nice that we could tuck it into the corner. Normally we wouldn't have that blind shut. We have these 3 big windows in the front of our house, but I shut the blinds just for lighting purposes for the video today. So anyway, we're gonna get into the lighting of the stove, how it works, and all that good stuff. You can see I have my wood prepped and ready to go in. My lighting wood that we split earlier in the video, hopefully if I put it together the way I plan, and you'll see how it works. Here we go. So the Lopi Evergreen we've had in here about a week, so just to test it out. This one, like I said, it's their second one up. It's the one that qualifies, the smallest one that qualifies for the 26% federal tax credit. I think this is the last year they said so. We ended up going with this stove. It's rated at, I think, up to 2,000 square feet. Our house is 1,800. We opted for the blower and the green start, which is what I'm going to show you now, and where I coined the phrase, does our stove light itself? Well, it just about does. So let's get into that. I'll show you how I put the wood in and how it works. Okay, we did clean it out, but it's still a little dirty because now it's the stove that we use. Anyway, I'll show you how to put this wood into the green start igniter is right back there in the corner. And so as I stack this wood, I'm going to stack the wood up against the igniter. And as I mentioned earlier, these pieces that I'm cutting are basically just little square pieces. This happens to be cedar. It's seasoned cedar. And I'm just going to put a fair stack in the back to get this fire going. That's about all it should take. All right, so we've loaded up our green start wood to get the fire going. And now I'm just gonna go ahead and put in some seasoned regular size pieces of wood. Start button right down here at the bottom of the stove. All right, so normally you would shut the door. The green start's gonna have a loud noise, and it's gonna have an igniter that comes on here in a few moments. All right, there you have it. It's already kicked on. I think that was about a minute. I'm gonna go ahead and shut this door. And off it goes. That was about 1 minute. So the green start does a ignition on the wood at 1400 degrees for about 30 seconds, kind of like a pellet stove lights. And then it's gonna have another 6 or 7 minutes, I think it is, of just heating and blowing hot air. It takes a full 15 seconds when it's just blowing air in to get the fire going. So the whole cycle of the green start's about 15 minutes. If you need, say you get a fire going, or if say the fire dies down later on and you want to restart the fire but you don't want to use the igniter, if you push the button twice, and it just basically just blows air and gets it going that way without adding the additional hot air. We also have the blower that is a blower that you can set at however high you want it, and it'll kick on once stove is hot enough if we want to have the blower. So you can see now it's been a couple minutes and it's going pretty good as far as getting started. So this particular stove, as I said earlier, has a heat capacity up to 2,000 square feet. It has up to a 10-hour burn time, and I'll show you some of the features on it while we're waiting for the fire to kick off. This is the damper here, and obviously right now it's completely open, but shut is all the way in. The ash drawer is here on the bottom, and there are two openings inside the stove that you can pull out in the bottom, and you can push all the ash into the drawer if you want to go that route. And then on top, it has basically like a heat coil up inside, and so once the fire's warm, we push that in and it diverts the smoke around the heat coil to heat that. And I think it has it's rated at like 77% overall efficiency, whatever that means, if you know what that means. We were able to go straight out the roof, and so our ceiling and roof, so that gave us a little more efficiency too as far as the piping goes, and I'll just pan back and show you that. Alright, so you can see my reflection there. It's kind of cool. Anyway, so you can see it's the wood is kicking off now. It's starting to burn, and you know, it's probably been maybe 3 or 4 minutes at this point. There you have a little bit of smoke coming out the stack. All right, so there you have it. That's the wood stove video, short little video on what's going on. And 32 degrees this morning, so still worth having a fire, and we're kind of getting past that learning curve, figuring it out. Wife likes having the fire going and leaving the door open so you get fresh air and a nice warm heat. Anyway, have any questions? I'll be happy to try to answer them. Just leave them in the comments there. Take care of yourselves. Appreciate you stopping by, and we will talk to you soon.